So speaking to what we're seeing at the town halls, I think that some people believe, I believe, people should have the right to go and speak out and ask questions, but that's not what we've been seeing. What we've been seeing is people organizing against letting people get their questions answered and asked. And I wonder if we'd ask that question if we're talking about when they say they sympathize with the protesters, are they sympathizing with the people who are asking the questions, or are they sympathizing with the people who are actually causing violence and hate speech, which I think is absolutely destructive to the process and un-American.
Do you think they are also evil? Is it evil mongers?
Evil mongers.
Is that that's the latest from Senator Reid? Evil mongers?
Well, look,
we've gone from un-American now to evil mongers.
But our American values say we believe in free speech. We believe in the right to.
Then why is everybody trying to constrain expression?
Because what we're seeing is, I believe that tyranny is when you organize for the purpose of being disruptive, or when you use hate speech like "I want to drive a stake through Howard Dean's heart," or you talk about, some of these.
Did I say I wanted to drive a stake through Howard Dean's heart?
I heard that on your radio. I heard on your radio program.
You heard me make a reference to Bram Stoker, an allusion to Howard Dean, and as a matter of fact, I was putting it in.
That's a convenient correction, Mr. Dobbs, but actually you did. You called him a blood-sucking liberal and talked about driving a stake through his heart. But how does you're saying things like that?
Excuse me. If you will permit me, I called him a blood-sucking leftist because of the approach he took.
Oh, excuse me, leftist, not liberal.
I just want you to be accurate.
Oh, okay, blood-sucking. You're right. That's such a kind term.
If you're offended, I don't see where in the Constitution that you have a right not to be offended. Would you like to constrain my speech?
My question to you is, in the context of
I'm sorry, you do have a right not to be offended?
No, I didn't say that. So of course I have a right to be offended. My question to you, though, is when we hear language like that, how does that further the discussion on health care?
You tell me. Evil mongers, un-American, you want to worry about language? Let's hear about Ed Schultz today. Roll what Ed Schultz had to say today. Are you familiar?
Yes, I am.
Actually, he said it Tuesday.
Sometimes I think they want Obama to get shot. I do. I really think that there are conservative broadcasters in this country who would love to see Obama taken out. They fear socialism. They fear Marxism. They fear that the United States of America won't be the United States of America anymore.
I don't totally agree with everything that Ed said. I'm not as far to the left as Ed is. Look, but I do think when we're talking about...
You're an ideologue.
No,
you are not talking about language.
I'm absolutely not an ideologue.
You are pursuing an agenda, and you're being rude.
No, I'm absolutely not.
Let's go to Errol, your thought. Because it's your nature, I assume.
Let me say that my friend Ed Schultz, I think, has put his finger on something that's important, which is there is a lot day in and day out, and we won't call any names.
He's put his finger on something important?
Yes. There are people, Lou, and I don't want to call any names, but there are broadcasters out there who have been saying day after day after day that the White House is preparing concentration camps, that there are death panels, that
No, I think that if anyone's saying that, we should be saying their names. Who are they?
Michael Savage.
Okay, who else?
You hear that from him. You hear a similar kind of talk from Rush Limbaugh.
No, not similar. You use very specific language. Who used that language?
Death panels all over the place. All over the place. I mean, all over the place. Seriously, on your station.
You said concentration camp.
Concentration camps. They have described them in detail. That the order is going to come. That people need to be. And when you see somebody show up.
Has anyone done what Ed Schultz said? Has anyone intimated that?
I think
this is beyond the pale of ideology.
Listen. I think there are people who are doing the exact equivalent, or the media equivalent of fulminating, sowing discord, and then in effect placing, almost metaphorically, a loaded gun on the table and then walking out of the room.
My God, to even use that kind of metaphor. Errol, I got to be honest with you,
Lou, when
you and I have known each other for a long time.
When you see,
that is a patently ideological.
Wait, but Lou, go
ahead, Chris. We don't want to leave Chris out of this debate.
Well, I only think what's illustrated here is that
what's he going to agree with me about?
The only thing I see here is nobody is talking about health care anymore. We are talking about the mob.
Well,
we are talking
Congress
about
wasn't either,
the president.
Chris, in all honesty.
No, exactly. But I think the point here is that the White House has lost control of this discussion. Congress has lost control of the discussion. They didn't put any idea. They didn't put a final idea forward, a proposal to the American people, which is understandable. The president wanted one done by August, so there would be something to talk about. They failed in that goal, and right now people are understandably upset. The anger, the discussion, the outrage that we hear, I think, is illustrative of the fact that the Democratic majority hasn't done a good job of selling this thing to the American people, and now they're attacking the people who are upset about it.
I obviously take issue with that. We're not attacking people who are upset about it. We're suggesting that at these town halls,
I'm sorry.
people
You're
who
taking
come,
exception to what?
People who come to these town halls with the purpose of disrupting them.
We don't care what you're taking exception to. Do you understand?
Well, then why are you having me on the show to talk about healthcare reform or to talk about the issues of the day?
I'd love to hear you talk about it, but you started talking to me about something I said on radio about Howard Dean. What's that got to do with it?
That's exactly my point, Lou. What does that have to do with it? What do these kind of hyperbolic?
We appreciate you bringing those points to us, Errol. Thank you very much for being with us. Chris, I
guess we're not going to talk about healthcare reform.
Can I just say, I just need 5 seconds.
Can he say something in 5 seconds?
When people are bringing guns to town hall meetings, and it's happened more than once, that is a problem.
Do you think that is a problem? Do you think it's appropriate to bring guns to town hall meetings? Do you think it's appropriate to be disruptive of town hall meetings?
You are doing everything you can to absolutely distort an event that occurred that was absolutely benign. A man was making a point. He happens to live in a state in which guns are permitted to be carried. It's open carry. It's a constitutional right. Now you not only want to constrain freedom of speech and freedom of expression, you want to attack the Second Amendment and distort it into something sinister when you're sitting here talking in language that I frankly, Earl, think is highly irresponsible.
Again,
we'll be right back. Unbelievable.